which has the highest possible concentration of engineering intelligence available to it? The answer is that those who know are not heard, or that those who know do not speak loud enough, or long enough, or to the right quarters. The way our cities have grown and are growing, obliterating the natural nerve ends of the topography, is a recipe for suicide. And this is not true of Chennai alone, but of most cities in India. Urbanization, like earthquakes, will not be stopped, but its course can be altered. And this is where I think a passion will have to be discovered by students and alumni of an institution like the IIT Madras. A passion to sound warnings which go against the contemporary trends of living and behaving. Warnings that are unpopular and difficult, and which run up against the power of capital and the power of monopoly. I've spoken enough, but I've spoken with great pride and faith in an institution like yours. And I wish all the alumni to be an astounding career of deep fulfillment and great achievement ahead. And I thank IIT Madras once again for the very great affection and respect with which it treats senior citizens of Madras like myself and gives them a space here and the benefit of its time. I thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now request Abhishek Sharma, student representative, to talk to you.
Start off with unveiling of our yearbook, which is being released today. So we'll get 2 yearbooks today, and we'll get it unveiled by our Professor Nagarajan, Dean of Alumni International Relations. So can we have the yearbooks? So our director, Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, will unveil the first yearbook. And Mr. Ravi Venkatraman, President of IITM Alumni Association, will unveil the second yearbook. So I hope every one of you guys have already seen collected yearbooks or will collect tonight. And now I'll also share my experience of a graduating student, because I'm also graduating with you guys. We entered IIT Madras as overachievers. We entered IIT Madras thinking that we've conquered the world, we've at least conquered the country, and there's nothing that's going to stop us now. But then, obviously, we faced MA 101 in our first semester, and we were quickly to realize that we are not better than an average of 3 marks. At least that was the score in my class. We learned how to face rejection in campus. This is probably the first time we as individuals faced rejection in our lives. And that is probably one of the things that has taught us. That it has taught us to be relentless. It has taught us that there are problems in life. There are things that will be challenging, and with the limited interaction I've had with our alumni, my friends, and my batchmates, Narmad Janta, because I'm from Narmad, is that we love challenges. We love facing challenges. We love solving problems. And this is something our alumni also enjoy. The reason that they're happy in lives, doing anything and everything they could be doing, being even just engineers, is because they love solving problems. And this is something that I think is the reason that we are now rank 1 institute in the country. And now I am proud to say that I am graduating out of the best college in India, best engineering institute in India. And uh, I never liked it when people used to say Bombay, but now I can proudly say Bombay is rank 2, IIT Madras is rank 1. And now to celebrate that, we'll get a cake. We'll cut a cake. Our professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy, our director, who's obviously been instrumental in all of this, will celebrate. And I hope you guys get the cake as well. We have a big enough cake. So can we have the cake now? DJs for IIT Madras. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. खिला दे डिंगू डैरो खिला दे चलो डैरो को खिला दो
मैम को बुलाओ ना मैम नो इट्स योर इवेंट
May I request Ravi to felicitate the director?
बाद में ना कहना कुछ भी पहले ही दे दो वार्निंग पार्टी चलेगी till 6 in the morning जी भर के ना चले वे भी नाच नाच के तोड़ दे सैंडल आंटी पुलिस बुला लेगी तो यार तेरा कर लेगा हैंडल
Thank you everyone for joining in the celebrations. We'll put the cake right there. Anyone who wants to have a piece, they can obviously come, cut the cake themselves and have it. And now let's start the panel discussion. We'll have Lata ma'am formally introducing the speakers, and we'll start off with the session itself.
So we move on with the next program in the business session. So today, as you all know, we have a panel discussion on why the next 5 years will shape your life. And here we have Mr. Sharat Naru. Can we have you on stage, Mr. Sharat Naru, the moderator? Yes, please. And the other panelists with them, Ben Matias, Sharat and Ben are alumni of IIT Madras. A big round of applause for that, come on. Thank you, Ben. Ben has flown in from Bangalore today to be with us today. I request Mithun and Sridevi also to join us. So I'm going to quickly introduce Sharat a little bit, and then he will take it over and introduce the panelists and take the discussion forward. Sridevi? So Sharath is the founder and managing partner of Venture East, one of India's longest-standing venture capital institutions investing in pioneering sectors since the mid-90s. Venture East manages over $30 million, having made close to 100 investments. In the past, Sharath sold soap at Procter & Gamble USA and worked in British American Tobacco subsidiary. As an entrepreneur, he has built a trading business between India and the USA, covering engineering and fashion goods and printing-related services. He has a BTech from IIT Madras and an MBA from Booth University of Chicago. He has been associated at board-level positions with the IVCA, ABLE, IITM Research Park, and Pan IIT Association. Welcome, Sharath, and I leave the stage to you to take it forward with the panelists. Thank you. I'll give you the mic just a second.
And thanks to my friends in the IIT alumni body. Thanks, of course, Bhaskar also is part of the alumni body. And thanks to the other friends out here for having us on the stage. I'm going to start with a little bit of a very short introduction of my extremely good panelists here. And then we will go directly into the topic about the next 5 years and what impact it might have on the rest of your career. All I can say is that the panelists here are well qualified to talk about it. For example, Ben himself is an IIT Madras alum. He's gone to his graduate studies at Dartmouth, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
And he's worked in the corporate sector. He's been an entrepreneur. And he has also, now currently he works for a leading venture capital firm called Vertex. Before that, he was one of the world's largest venture capital firms called NEA. So certainly he can talk to you about what he did in the first 5 years and how did it shape the rest of his career, working through the corporate life as well as working through the entrepreneurial life, and where is he right now? And is that a good thing to be a VC or a bad thing to be a VC? Of course, Sridevi also has a very interesting background. She is a Harvard alumni, which some might argue is a better brand than IIT and IIT Madras. And no, she's not saying that. She's not saying that. So, and she comes from an undergrad and grad education in economics and the arts. And she's worked for a leading advertising agency. And moving from a corporate career, broke journey to join Harvard, and then she's an exciting and a successful entrepreneur now. And she'll talk to you about what were the defining moments for her. Of course, Mithun is also, both his educational qualifications and his entrepreneurial qualifications and his non-academic qualifications are now, what I mean by that is your romantic ones, Mithun, are legendary. Mithun is an IIM Bangalore graduate, and then he has founded a very successful startup, which is no more a startup, it's a well-funded company called Carrot Lane. And of course, he's also come from a different background of having worked with a family business, with his own family business, stepped out and built something wonderful. Having put all these impressive CVs up front, I've got to admit that mine is a little bit of a anti-climax, and but I hope that also serves to teach a lesson, if you will, in terms of how somebody like me, where am I, where I'm right now, and how did I get here? Very briefly, I studied engineering, I think so, from IIT Madras. I used to be on that side of the stage. I worked for 2 years in manufacturing, didn't like it. Then I studied finance at the University of Chicago, didn't like it. Then I worked in brand management and marketing and in Procter & Gamble, didn't like it. Then I became an entrepreneur, I didn't like it. Then there's only one thing left to do, it was to become a VC. So I became a VC, and here I am. And I hope it shows you also having a lack of focus and having a process of discovery, though, and finding out what you like or what you don't like, and be passionate about, as Mr. Gandhi pointed out, that passion is a very important thing, and you have to discover that, whether it's a corporate career, an institutional career, or uh, I guess, a career of entrepreneurship. And I think I've found it through failures, uh, and here I am. Having said that, today's topic didn't just emerge upon us without any effort. It took us a lot of time because there was a big discussion on what's the most popular topic. And of course, the most popular topic apparently was all about entrepreneurship. And it was also discovered it's become too stale now. So what do we talk about? So the topic then turned out to be how are the next 5 years going to be the most definitive years of your life? With that, I'm going to start with asking my panelists, starting with Ben, to talk about that. And then we'll have a series of questions after that. And I also encourage the panelists to ask me questions or the other panelists questions. Please feel welcome. You could also ask the audience questions. Thank you. Ben, would you?
Sure. Thanks, Sharat. So let me talk a little bit about the next 5 years, what you folks have to think about. So first of all, as Abhishek said a little while ago, the world is at your feet. And don't be embarrassed about it. You have come from the #1 institution. You are the smartest people around. You have the IIT brand to back you. So never hesitate to use it. And I will just give you 3 guiding principles for the next 5 years. First principle is the next 5 years, you will not have a lot of personal commitments. You folks are all going to be in your 20s. You will have lots of energy, lots of time on your hands. You don't have kids to deal with. Hopefully you don't have aging parents to look after. Take full advantage of it and work as hard as you can in your careers. Whether you go to a corporate job, whether you go into entrepreneurship, whether you go into academia, take full advantage of the time you have. And I would aim extremely high in whatever you choose to do at this point. If you think you can achieve X, aim for 3X, because you will be surprised. You might actually end up hitting 2.5X. So that's principle #1. Number 2, I would say, take full advantage of the IIT network. Professor Bhaskar talked about this, and I really want to emphasize the benefits of this. And this helped me a lot in my career. I can give you some instances over the course of this discussion. When I was in your shoes, a recent graduate of IIT, and I used to live in Boston at the time, I would go for every IIT event that I could and get a chance to meet alumni. I got a chance to shake hands with some very senior alums that you only read about on the cover of Fortune magazine. So take full advantage of that. It will help you. And guiding principle number 3 is never give up a chance to help somebody that you're working with and help them be successful. And this may be sort of counterintuitive for us coming from a very competitive environment, especially with coming from an environment of relative grading. But in the workforce, you will realize very soon that if you help a colleague, or help somebody working for you, working with you, help them become successful, and help them look good, they will go out of their way to make you look good, and they will push you up with them. So those are just, to kick off the discussion, 3 guiding principles for you for the next 5 years.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Sridevi, would you like to take it up?
Sure, thanks so much, Sharat. I read somewhere, and it said, giving advice is a little bit like sharing a bit of nostalgia. And that instantly made me feel like 20 years older. So I'm going to refrain from giving any advice and just share my perspectives, because that makes me continue to feel a little young. But I think, when you spoke about the first 5 years after you graduate, I always keep this, medical students' lives in my mind because, they graduate, but they feel like, they've not really graduated yet. They're still learning. So there's like this internship, and then they go through a senior internship, and it's totally legitimate for them to do that. They can go through 2 years, 3 years of internships, and then they go into,